Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the stars through the large window. His cybernetic eye glowed softly in the dim light as he read the reports coming in from the outer systems. The year 2387 had been quiet so far, but Jake had a feeling that was about to change. The Terran Federation controlled 12 star systems now. Earth was still the capital, but humans had spread far across space. They built colonies, mined asteroids, and created new homes among the stars. For over 100 years, they had kept to themselves. The galaxy was big enough for everyone. Dr. Lisa Carter walked onto the bridge carrying a datapad. She was the best xenobiologist in the fleet and one of the few humans who had studied alien cultures. Her blonde hair was tied back and her green eyes showed worry. "Admiral, we have a problem," she said. "Long-range sensors picked up a massive ship at the edge of our solar system." "It's definitely not human." Jake turned from the window. His scarred face showed no emotion, but his metal fingers tapped against his belt. "How massive?" 3 kilometers long. The design matches Galactic Consual records from our old databases. It's a diplomatic vessel, but it's armed with enough weapons to destroy a small moon. The Galactic Consual was a group of 7 alien species that controlled most of known space. Humans had signed a peace treaty with them 150 years ago, but contact had been limited. The aliens left humans alone and humans stayed in their corner of the galaxy. "They're requesting permission to enter our space," Lisa continued. "The ship is called Harmony's Edge. Ambassador Zekthar wants to meet with you directly." Jake thought for a moment. Human law was clear. No alien ships could enter Terran space without special permission from the Senate. That process took weeks. "Tell them no," Jake said. "If they want to talk, we can do it over the communication system." Captain Ryan Brooks was commanding the TFS Guardian near Jupiter when the call came in. He was young for a captain, only 32, but he had proven himself in battles against pirates and raiders. His brown hair was cut short in military style, and his blue eyes were always alert. "Captain," his communications officer called out, "Admiral Morrison wants us to patrol the outer edge of the system. There's an alien ship out there." Ryan had never seen an alien ship before. Few humans had. The thought excited and worried him at the same time. 2 hours later, the meeting began. On the main screen of Jake's flagship appeared Ambassador Zekthar. The alien was tall and made of what looked like living crystal. Purple energy flowed through his transparent body like blood. When he spoke, his voice sounded like wind chimes. "Admiral Morrison," Zekthar said, "I bring greetings from the Galactic Consual. We must discuss important matters concerning your species." Jake sat in his command chair, his hands folded. "Ambassador, you're welcome to speak, but you cannot enter our space. Our laws are clear." The alien's energy patterns shifted to a darker purple. "Very well. I will be direct. The Consual has been watching your expansion with growing concern. Your species has grown too quickly and spread too far. This ends now." Lisa stepped forward. "Ambassador, we have honored the treaty signed by our peoples. We have not entered Consual space or threatened any of your worlds. The treaty was signed when humans were confined to one system," Zekthar replied. "You now control 12 systems and continue to expand. Our member species are concerned about your aggressive nature and rapid technological advancement." Jake's metal eye glowed brighter. "Our expansion is legal under galactic law. We have the right to colonize uninhabited systems." "Not anymore," the ambassador said firmly. "The Consul has voted. Humanity must cease all expansion beyond your current 12 systems. You must also submit to regular inspections to ensure compliance. Consual observers will be stationed in your major systems." The bridge fell silent. Jake could hear the hum of the ship's engines and the quiet beeping of computer systems. What the alien was asking for was surrender. Humanity would become a subject species controlled by aliens. "That's not going to happen," Jake said quietly. Zekthar's energy patterns flashed bright red for a moment. "Admiral, you do not understand the situation. The Consual represents 7 advanced species with combined fleets of thousands of ships. We have ruled this galaxy for 50,000 years. Your resistance is meaningless." Dr. Carter tried to negotiate. "Ambassador, surely we can find a compromise. Humans value their independence, but we don't seek conflict with the Consual. Independence is a luxury your species cannot afford," Zekthar said. "You have proven too dangerous to remain uncontrolled. Human technology advances too quickly. Your weapons are too powerful. Your expansion too rapid. The Consual's patience has limits." Jake stood up from his chair. His 6-foot frame was imposing even over the communication system. "Let me be clear, Ambassador. Humanity will never bow to alien rule. We govern ourselves. We make our own laws. We decide our own future. Then you have chosen unwisely, Zekthar said. The energy in his body turned deep red like blood. The Consual has been generous in allowing your species this much freedom. Do not mistake our patience for weakness. And don't mistake our peaceful nature for weakness either, Jake replied. Humanity has survived ice ages, world wars, and the machine uprising. We won't be intimidated by threats. The alien ambassador was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice was cold. Very well, Admiral. I have delivered the Consual's message. You have 1 month to reconsider your position. After that, there will be consequences. What kind of consequences? Lisa asked. The kind that end civilizations, Zekthar said simply. Terran territory ends where it stands now, or your species will learn why the galaxy fears the Consual's judgment. The communication ended. The screen went dark, leaving the bridge in tense silence. Captain Brooks watched from his ship as the massive alien vessel turned and disappeared into hyperspace. Its departure left only stars and darkness. Jake Morrison stood alone on his bridge after the crew had left for their shifts. He looked out at Earth in the distance, its blue and green surface peaceful in the sunlight. Somewhere out there, alien fleets were probably already moving. The quiet century was over. He touched his communicator. Get me President Marshall. We need to call an emergency session of the Senate. The war that would decide humanity's future had not begun yet, but the first shots had been fired with words instead of weapons. Jake knew that wouldn't last long. In his experience, diplomatic threats were usually followed by real ones. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when someone tried to cage humanity. 3 months had passed since Ambassador Zekthar delivered his warning. Captain Ryan Brooks was patrolling the outer edge of the Proxima Centauri system when his sensors picked up something unusual. Strange ships were moving just outside Terran space, watching and scanning. Captain, his sensor officer called out, I'm reading 5 unknown vessels at the system boundary. They're not broadcasting any identification signals. Ryan moved to the sensor station. The ships on the screen were sleek and angular, unlike any human design. How long have they been there? They just appeared, sir. No hyperspace signature. They might have some kind of stealth technology. Ryan had been expecting this. Ever since the failed diplomatic meeting, everyone knew the aliens would be back. I'll stop. Go to yellow alert. Send a message to Admiral Morrison. On Earth, General Pete Harrison was studying reports in his underground office. Pete was Admiral Morrison's oldest friend and head of Terran military intelligence. His gray hair and lined face showed the stress of recent months. The news was not good. Dr. Lisa Carter entered his office carrying a stack of data pads. Pete, we've decoded more Consual communications. They're building something big. Pete looked up from his reports. How big? Big enough to make our entire fleet look like toys. Intelligence suggests they're gathering ships from all 7 member species. We're talking about thousands of vessels. Pete rubbed his tired eyes. Where? The Vega Nebula, just outside our territory. It's the perfect staging area, hidden from our long-range sensors but close enough to strike quickly. Meanwhile, in a secret facility on Mars, engineer Mia Rodriguez was working on humanity's response. Mia was only 28, but she was the brightest mind in the Terran Federation. Her dark hair was always messy from working long hours, and her brown eyes were always focused on solving problems. The new quantum torpedoes are ready for testing, she told her team. These weapons can punch through any known shield technology. The aliens won't be expecting them. Her assistant, a young man named Kevin, looked worried. But will it be enough? Intelligence reports say they have thousands of ships. Mia smiled grimly. That's why we have the Prometheus Protocol. The Prometheus Protocol was humanity's most secret project. Hidden throughout the 12 Terran systems were automated defense platforms. Each platform was controlled by advanced artificial intelligence and armed with weapons that most galactic treaties banned. If the aliens came, they would face more than just the human fleet. Far from Earth, in the Vega Nebula, Council Prime Velnara held a war meeting aboard her flagship Divine Judgment. She was ancient even by alien standards, with tentacle-like arms and powerful psychic abilities. Her species had ruled the galaxy long before the other 6 joined the Consual. The humans refused to submit, she told the assembled representatives. Their Admiral Morrison has rejected all our offers of peaceful integration. War Chief Grathtok of the Ragthok Empire slammed his massive fist on the table. He was 8 feet tall with thick reptilian skin and cybernetic implants that enhanced his strength. Then we crushed them. My fleets are ready. Patience, said Sajix Alath, the Consual's chief strategist. Her bird-like species was known for their intelligence and long-term planning. Humans are more dangerous than previous conquests. They have advanced quickly. They are 1 species with 12 systems, Grathtok growled. We are 7 species with thousands of systems. Numbers will decide this war. Council Prime Velnara raised 1 tentacle for silence. The decision is made. We will test their resolve first. A small force will cross into their territory and gauge their response. If they submit, we continue with peaceful integration. If they resist, we show them the price of defying the Consual, Grathtok finished. Back in the Proxima Centauri system, Captain Brooks was getting more reports of alien ships. They appeared, scanned human installations, then disappeared. It was clear reconnaissance, preparing for something bigger. Captain, his communications officer said, we're receiving a priority message from Admiral Morrison. Jake Morrison appeared on the screen. His scarred face was grim. Ryan, intelligence confirms the aliens are massing a large fleet. We expect them to test our defenses soon. You are authorized to engage any hostile vessels in your territory. Understood, sir. What about first contact protocols? Forget protocols. If they shoot, you shoot back. We can't appear weak. Dr. Carter was in her laboratory analyzing every piece of data they had on Consual military tactics. The aliens had conquered dozens of species over the centuries. Their methods were always the same. Overwhelming force followed by complete submission. They expect us to surrender after the first battle, she told Admiral Morrison during their daily briefing. Every species they've conquered has followed that pattern. Jake nodded. But every species they've conquered didn't have what we have. The Prometheus platforms are fully online. Our new weapons are tested and ready. If they want to fight, we'll give them one they won't forget. On the Consual flagship, final preparations were being made. 50 ships had been selected for the test mission. It was a small force by Consual standards, but still massive compared to typical human ship formations. War Chief Grathtok stood on the bridge of his personal dreadnought, Blood of Ancestors. The ship was 2 kilometers long and armed with enough firepower to destroy a small planet. Around him, his crew prepared for battle with ritual chants and weapon checks. Set course for the human system they call Kepler 442, he ordered. We will show these humans the cost of defiance. The Kepler 442 system had a human colony of 2 million people. It was one of humanity's newest settlements with beautiful cities and thriving farms. The colonists had no idea that 50 alien warships were heading straight for them. Captain Brooks received the alert while his ship was refueling near Proxima Station. All ships, we have incoming hostiles. Large formation approaching Kepler 442. All available vessels proceed immediately. The TFS Guardian was the newest ship in the Terran fleet. It was equipped with all of humanity's latest technology, including the experimental quantum torpedo system and adaptive armor plating. If the aliens wanted to test human resolve, they had picked the right ship for the job. As Brooks set course for Kepler 442, he thought about the colonists there. Many were families who had left Earth looking for a better life among the stars, children who had been born under alien suns. They were depending on him and his crew. All hands battle stations, he announced over the ship's communication system. This is what we've been training for. Time to show the galaxy what humans are made of. In the Kepler 442 system, the colony's early warning sensors detected the approaching alien fleet. Governor Helen Price immediately ordered an evacuation of the outer settlements. Transport ships launched from the surface, carrying civilians to underground shelters. The test was about to begin. 50 alien ships against 1 human vessel. On paper, it looked like a massacre. But the aliens were about to learn that humans didn't follow the same rules as everyone else. The TFS Guardian dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler 442 system. Captain Brooks could see the alien fleet on his sensors. 50 ships in perfect formation, moving toward the human colony like a dark cloud. Open a channel, he ordered. The face of War Chief Grathtok appeared on the screen. His reptilian features were twisted in what might have been a smile. Human vessel, you will withdraw immediately. This system is now under Consual control. Brooks sat in his captain's chair, calm and ready. This is Captain Ryan Brooks of the Terran Federation Ship Guardian. You are in violation of our territorial space. Leave immediately or face the consequences. Grathtok laughed, a sound like breaking rocks. One ship threatens 50? Your species is either very brave or very stupid. You're about to find out which, Brooks replied. The TFS Guardian hung in space between the alien fleet and the human colony on Kepler 442b. Captain Ryan Brooks stood on his bridge, watching 50 enemy ships advance in perfect formation. His crew worked quietly at their stations, preparing for a battle that should have been impossible to win. Lieutenant Commander Amy Foster, his second-in-command, checked the tactical display. Amy was known throughout the fleet for her brilliant tactical mind. Her red hair was pulled back in a tight bun, and her brown eyes studied every detail of the enemy formation. "Captain, they're spreading out into attack formation," she reported. 12 ships moving to flank us from port and starboard. The big one in the center is charging weapons. Chief Engineer Ben Taylor's voice came over the communication system from the engine room. Ben was a 20-year veteran who had served on everything from cargo haulers to battleships. His steady hands had kept ships running through countless crises. "Captain, all systems are green. The quantum torpedo tubes are loaded and ready. Adaptive armor is at full power." Brooks nodded. The Guardian was humanity's most advanced warship, but it had never been tested against alien technology. Today they would learn if human engineering was good enough. War Chief Grathtok stood on the bridge of his massive dreadnought Blood of Ancestors. Around him, his crew prepared for what should be an easy victory. The Ragthok had conquered 17 different species. Humans would be number 18. "Target their engines," he ordered. "We will disable them and take prisoners. The Consual wants to study human technology." The first plasma blasts lit up space around the Guardian. Bright green energy beams struck the human ship's shields, causing them to flare and shimmer. Brooks felt the deck vibrate under his feet as the ship absorbed the impact. "Shields down to 80%, Amy reported. "Return fire?" Brooks watched as more alien ships joined the attack. Plasma cannons and particle beams struck his ship from multiple directions. The Guardian's shields held, but barely. "Fire quantum torpedoes," he ordered. What happened next shocked everyone, including the human crew. The Guardian's quantum torpedoes were unlike anything seen in galactic warfare. Instead of exploding against enemy shields, they phased through them like the shields didn't exist. The torpedoes struck alien hull plating directly and detonated inside the ships. 3 Consual vessels exploded in brilliant flashes of light. Debris scattered across space as their hulls were torn apart from the inside. The remaining alien ships stopped firing, stunned by what they had just witnessed. "Impossible," Grathtok growled. "Our shields are impenetrable. How did their weapons pass through?" His tactical officer, a smaller Ragthok with cybernetic implants, studied the sensor readings. "Sir, their weapons appear to operate on quantum frequencies we don't understand. Our shields cannot stop them." On the Guardian, Chief Taylor's voice crackled over the communication system. "Captain, their return fire is having minimal effect. The adaptive armor is learning their weapon patterns and adjusting automatically." Amy smiled grimly as she watched the tactical display. "Sir, we've destroyed 3 ships and damaged 2 more. The enemy formation is breaking apart." The alien ships began firing everything they had at the Guardian. Plasma beams, particle cannons, and kinetic projectiles filled space around the human vessel. The ship's adaptive armor glowed white-hot as it absorbed and deflected the incoming fire. But the Guardian was doing more than just surviving. It was fighting back with weapons the aliens had never encountered. Quantum torpedoes continued to phase through shields and tear apart ship hulls. Energy beams that shifted frequency made alien defensive systems useless. War Chief Grathtok watched in growing rage as his ships were destroyed one by one. The humans were using tactics and technology that broke every rule of space combat. Their single ship was outfighting his entire squadron. "All ships concentrate fire on the human vessel," he ordered. "Overwhelm their defenses." 12 alien ships focused their combined firepower on the Guardian. The space around the human ship became a storm of energy and explosions. For a moment, it seemed like the aliens might succeed through sheer overwhelming force. But the Guardian's adaptive systems were learning. Each shot that hit the ship made the armor stronger. Each energy beam was analyzed and countered. What should have destroyed the human vessel only made it more dangerous. "Sir," Amy reported, "enemy fire effectiveness is dropping. Their weapons are becoming less effective with each shot." Brooks saw his opportunity. "All power to engines. We're going to ram their flagship." The Guardian accelerated directly toward Grathtalk's massive dreadnought. The alien war chief couldn't believe what he was seeing. A ship 1/10 the size of his own was charging straight at him. "Evasive maneuvers," he shouted. "All weapons fire on that ship." But it was too late. The Guardian's reinforced hull, made from metamaterials developed in human laboratories, struck the blood of ancestors at full speed. The impact tore through the alien ship's hull like it was made of paper. Ben Taylor had diverted all available power to the ship's forward deflectors just before impact. The Guardian punched through the alien dreadnought and emerged from the other side, battered but intact. Behind them, the blood of ancestors exploded in a massive fireball. War Chief Grathtalk's final transmission reached the other Consual ships. "These humans, they fight like demons. Their ship, it should not exist. We have awakened something terrible." The remaining alien vessels retreated immediately. What had started as a test of human resolve had become a disaster for the Galactic Consual. They had lost 23 ships, including their flagship, to a single human vessel. On the Guardian's bridge, the crew worked to assess damage and tend to the wounded. The ship had taken heavy hits, but it was still operational. More importantly, they had sent a message to the galaxy. "Damage report," Brooks called out. Chief Taylor's voice came over the communication system, tired but satisfied. "Hull breaches on decks 7 and 12. Shield generators are running hot but functional." The quantum torpedo system performed beyond expectations. Amy studied the tactical display, watching the alien ships disappear into hyperspace. "Sir, they're retreating toward Consual space. Should we pursue?" Brooks shook his head. "No, we've made our point. Send a message to Admiral Morrison. Tell him the test is over." News of the battle spread through Consual space within hours. For 50,000 years, the 7 species of the Galactic Consual had been the dominant power in the galaxy. They had conquered dozens of worlds and subjugated countless species. Never had they suffered such a devastating defeat. Council Prime Velnara received the reports aboard her flagship Divine Judgment. The ancient being's tentacles writhed with anger as she read the battle analysis. A single human ship had destroyed nearly half of their test force. "How is this possible?" she demanded. "Our intelligence said humans were a primitive species with basic technology." Sage Ixalath, the Consual's chief strategist, studied the data with her large bird-like eyes. "It appears our intelligence was wrong. Human technology has advanced far beyond our estimates. Their weapons and defensive systems are completely unknown to us." "Then we use more ships," suggested the representative from the Korthak Empire. "Overwhelm them with numbers." "Numbers may not be enough," Ixalath warned. "If one human ship can destroy 23 of ours, how many ships will we need to conquer 12 human systems?" The question hung in the air like a dark cloud. For the first time in their history, the Galactic Consual faced an enemy that might actually threaten their existence. On Earth, Admiral Jake Morrison read the battle report with satisfaction. Captain Brooks had done exactly what was needed. The aliens now knew that humanity would not submit quietly. Dr. Lisa Carter entered his office with more intelligence reports. "Jake, our deep space sensors are picking up massive movement in Consual territory. They're mobilizing everything they have." Jake nodded. He had expected this. The aliens would not accept defeat easily. How long before they can mount a full invasion? 3 months, maybe 4. But Jake, we're talking about thousands of ships. Every species in the Consual is contributing vessels. Jake looked out his office window at Earth's blue sky. Somewhere up there, beyond the atmosphere, an alien armada was gathering that could darken the stars. But humanity had survived worse odds before. Then we better use the time we have to prepare. Activate all Prometheus platforms. Recall every ship to defensive positions. If they want a war, we'll give them one they'll never forget. The Battle of Kepler 442 was over, but it was only the beginning. The galaxy was about to witness a conflict unlike anything in recorded history. And for the first time in 50,000 years, the Galactic Consual was no longer certain of victory. President Helen Marshall stood before the emergency session of the Terran Senate. The Grand Chamber on Earth was filled with representatives from all 12 human systems. Outside the windows, transport ships could be seen moving through Earth's atmosphere, carrying supplies and personnel for the coming war. Helen was a former admiral herself, with gray hair and sharp blue eyes that had seen many battles. She had led the Terran Federation through economic crises and natural disasters, but never anything like this. "Senators," she began, "we face the greatest threat in human history. The Galactic Consual is mobilizing an invasion force of over 2,000 ships. They demand our complete surrender." The chamber erupted in angry voices. Senator Williams from the Mars colonies stood up. "Madam President, surely there must be a diplomatic solution. We cannot fight the entire galaxy." "The time for diplomacy is past," Helen replied firmly. "Admiral Morrison will present our military situation." Jake Morrison approached the podium. His scarred face and cybernetic eye made him look like the veteran warrior he was. Behind him, a holographic display showed the positions of human and alien fleets throughout known space. "The situation is serious, but not hopeless," he began. "The enemy has numbers, but we have advantages they don't expect. Our technology has advanced beyond their intelligence estimates. Captain Brooks proved that at Kepler 442. Dr. Alan Price, the lead scientist on the Prometheus Protocol project, stepped forward. He was a thin man with wild gray hair and excited eyes. His hands shook slightly as he activated another holographic display. "Senators, what I'm about to show you is classified at the highest levels," he said. "For the past 50 years, we have been preparing for this moment." The display showed the 12 human systems, but now they were filled with thousands of small dots. Each dot represented a hidden defense platform. "The Prometheus Protocol," Alan continued, "consists of automated defense platforms hidden throughout our territory. Each platform is controlled by artificial intelligence and armed with quantum weapons. More importantly, they can replicate themselves using raw materials from asteroid belts." Senator Chen from the Alpha Centauri system looked shocked. "You're saying we have an army of robot ships?" "Not ships," Alan corrected. "Platforms. They don't move like traditional vessels. They wait hidden in asteroid fields and nebulae until enemies come close. Then they strike." Admiral Chris Bennett stood in the back of the chamber. He was Jake Morrison's rival, a younger officer who favored aggressive tactics over defensive ones. His blonde hair was cut short and his green eyes were always calculating. "This is all well and good," Chris said loudly, "but we can't win by hiding behind automated defenses. We need to take the fight to them." Jake turned to face his rival. "And how do you propose we do that, Admiral Bennett?" "Our entire fleet has maybe 300 ships. They have thousands. We hit their supply lines," Chris replied. "Fast ships with our new weapons can cause chaos behind their lines. Make them afraid to advance." Helen raised her hand for silence. "Both strategies have merit. Admiral Morrison will coordinate our overall defense. Admiral Bennett will lead strike operations against enemy supply lines. Dr. Price will oversee the Prometheus platforms." Meanwhile, in the deep cold of space near the Vega Nebula, the largest military force in galactic history was gathering. Council Prime Velnara stood on the observation deck of her flagship Universal Truth, watching ships arrive from across the galaxy. The massive vessel was a kilometer long and bristled with weapons from 7 different species. Around it, thousands of other ships filled space like a metal forest. Dreadnoughts, cruisers, fighters, and support vessels all waited for the order to advance. Sage Ixalath approached the Council Prime with her latest analysis. The bird-like alien's feathers were ruffled with concern. "The human defeat of Grathtock's squadron troubles me," she said. "Their technology is more advanced than we thought. Perhaps we should reconsider this invasion." Velnara's tentacles writhed with anger. "Impossible. The Consual has never retreated from inferior species. If we show weakness now, other systems might rebel against our rule." "But the cost," Ixalath persisted. "If humans can destroy our ship so easily, this war could devastate the galaxy." "Then we use overwhelming force," Velnara decided. "Every ship, every weapon, everything we have. Humanity will be crushed so completely that no other species will dare resist us." Back on Earth, engineer Mia Rodriguez was working around the clock in her laboratory. The young woman had dark circles under her eyes from lack of sleep, but her mind was still sharp. She was humanity's best hope for new weapons. "The wormhole generators are ready," she told her assistant Kevin. "Ships equipped with this technology can appear anywhere instantly. No hyperspace signatures, no warning." Kevin looked at the small device she was holding. It was hard to believe something so small could bend space itself. "How many ships can we equip?" he asked. "Only 12 so far," Mia replied. "The technology is too new for mass production. But 12 ships that can strike anywhere might be enough to change the war, Captain." Ryan Brooks was recovering in the medical bay of a space station near Earth. The Battle of Kepler 442 had left him with a broken arm and several cuts, but he was alive. More importantly, His ship was being repaired and upgraded with the latest weapons. Lieutenant Commander Amy Foster visited him with updates on the Guardian's status. The quantum torpedo system worked perfectly, she reported. Engineering wants to install even more powerful versions. What about the crew? Ryan asked. Everyone's eager to get back out there. Word of our victory has spread through the fleet. Morale is higher than ever, Ryan nodded. The victory at Kepler 442 had proven that humans could fight the aliens and win. But one battle did not make a war. The invasion began without warning. Consual ships appeared simultaneously in 5 human systems, their massive fleets overwhelming local defenses. The aliens had learned from their defeat and brought overwhelming numbers to each target. In the Ross 128 system, Admiral Bennett led a desperate defense with 60 human ships against 400 alien vessels. His flagship Liberty's Dawn fought bravely, but the odds were impossible. All ships to scatter formation, he ordered. Use hit-and-run tactics. Don't let them pin us down. The human ships broke formation and began striking at the alien fleet from multiple directions. Their quantum weapons punched through alien shields, destroying ships with each shot. But for every alien ship destroyed, 2 more took its place. In the Wolf 359 system, the first Prometheus platforms revealed themselves. Hidden in an asteroid field, 50 automated defense stations opened fire on the approaching Consual fleet. Their coordinated assault destroyed a dozen alien ships in the first minute, but the aliens adapted quickly. They had brought ships specifically designed to hunt hidden targets. Soon the platforms were under heavy attack. Dr. Price watched the battle from his command center on Earth. Multiple screens showed the fighting across human space. His platforms were performing well, but the aliens had too many ships. Activate the replication protocol, he ordered his staff. All platforms begin manufacturing new units immediately. This was the Prometheus Protocol's secret weapon. The platforms could build copies of themselves using materials from nearby asteroids. Within hours, the number of defense stations began to multiply. Captain Brooks, now recovered from his injuries, led a small task force to support Admiral Bennett's battered fleet. The Guardian had been upgraded with the new wormhole technology, allowing it to appear anywhere instantly. Take us to Wolf 359, he ordered. Maximum stealth. The Guardian and 5 other ships disappeared from Earth orbit and reappeared behind the alien fleet, attacking the Prometheus platforms. Their surprise attack destroyed 8 enemy vessels before the aliens knew they were there. But even these victories were not enough. The Consual had brought too many ships. Human defenses were being overwhelmed across multiple systems. On the Universal Truth, Council Prime Velnara watched the battle reports with satisfaction. The humans were fighting better than expected, but numbers would tell in the end. Order the Starbreaker to charge its main weapon, she commanded. Target the human homeworld. The Starbreaker was the Consual's most terrible weapon, a massive space station designed to destroy entire planets. If humanity would not surrender, their homeworld would be reduced to cosmic dust. Sage Ixalath looked troubled. Council Prime destroying Earth will make the humans fight even harder. They will never surrender after that. They will have nothing left to fight for, Velnara replied coldly. Without their homeworld, human resistance will collapse. High above Earth, Admiral Morrison coordinated the defense from his flagship. Multiple screens showed the battles raging across human space. The situation was desperate but not hopeless. Sir, his communications officer called out, we're receiving reports of a massive weapon charging in the enemy fleet. It's targeting Earth directly. Jake's cybernetic eye glowed as he processed this information. If the aliens destroyed Earth, the war would be over. 8 billion humans lived on the planet below. Signal all ships, he ordered. Emergency protocols are now in effect. This is the moment we've been preparing for. Across human space, hidden weapons systems came online. Secret shipyards began launching vessels that had been built incomplete. Fleet Admiral Kate Morgan emerged from retirement to take command of all Terran forces. At 70 years old, she was a living legend who had fought in the Machine Wars and the Outer Colony Rebellion. Her white hair was pulled back in a military bun, and her gray eyes held the wisdom of countless battles. Kate stood on the bridge of the massive battleship Defiance, watching as the Consual's planet-killer weapon charged its main cannon. The Starbreaker was a monstrous station 3 kilometers across, bristling with enough firepower to crack a world in half. All units, this is Fleet Admiral Morgan, she announced across all frequencies. Operation Homecoming is now active. Every ship, every platform, every weapon we have built in secret. This is our moment. Across the 12 human systems, hidden shipyards revealed themselves. Massive doors opened on asteroids and moons, releasing fleets of ships that had been built in complete secrecy. The aliens had been watching human space for months, but they had missed the underground factories. Lieutenant John Kelly was 25 years old and one of the best pilots in the Terran fleet. He sat in the cockpit of an experimental fighter called the Hornet, waiting for his mission orders. The small ship was packed with enough explosives to take out a battleship. "Kelly," came the voice of his squadron leader over the communication system. "You're authorized for Operation Last Stand. Target the Starbreaker's main cannon." "This is a one-way mission," John understood. The Starbreaker was too well defended for conventional attack. Someone had to get close enough to destroy it from the inside. He thought of his family on Earth. 8 billion people depending on him. "Copy that, Control. Beginning attack run!" The Hornet accelerated toward the massive alien weapon. Around John, space filled with laser fire and explosions as hundreds of ships battled for control of Earth's orbit. The young pilot dodged between alien vessels, using his ship's small size and speed to avoid being hit. Meanwhile, Captain Brooks led a desperate assault on the Consual flagship Universal Truth, the Guardian, and 20 other ships used their wormhole technology to appear directly next to the massive alien vessel. "All weapons, fire," Brooks ordered. Quantum torpedoes and energy beams struck the flagship's hull. The Guardian's weapons tore through alien armor like it was paper. Around them, other human ships pressed their attack with deadly efficiency. But Council Prime Velnara's ship was too large and too well defended. Its return fire destroyed 3 human vessels in seconds. The remaining ships scattered, regrouping for another attack. On the Universal Truth's bridge, Velnara watched the battle with growing concern. The humans were fighting with a desperation she had never seen before. Their tactics made no sense, but they were working. "Status report," she demanded. Her tactical officer, a tall alien with 4 arms, studied the displays nervously. "Council Prime, we have lost over 400 ships. The human automated platforms continue to multiply. Our estimates were completely wrong." Sage Ixalath approached with the latest intelligence reports. "The humans have revealed hidden fleets throughout their territory. They have been preparing for this war much longer than we thought." Velnara's tentacles writhed with rage. "Impossible. Our spies reported no major military buildup. Their construction was hidden underground and in asteroid fields," Ixalath explained. "We were watching their known shipyards while they built secret ones." Admiral Bennett was leading hit-and-run attacks throughout Consual territory. His fast ships appeared without warning, destroyed supply convoys, then disappeared before enemy reinforcements could arrive. "Target the fuel depot," he ordered his tactical officer. "Hit it hard and fast." The human ships struck with precision, their quantum weapons igniting massive explosions in the alien supply base. Fuel and ammunition detonated in chain reactions that could be seen from several star systems away. But Bennett's greatest victory came when his ships caught a Consual communications hub undefended. The facility contained the aliens' strategic plans and fleet positions. Within hours, human intelligence knew exactly where every enemy ship was located. Dr. Price watched his Prometheus platforms multiply across human space. The automated factories were working faster than ever, building new defense stations every few minutes. What had started as a few thousand platforms was becoming an army of millions. "The replication rate is exceeding all projections," he told his assistants. "At this rate, we'll have complete coverage of all 12 systems within days." The aliens tried to stop the replication by targeting the platforms directly, but it was too late. For every platform they destroyed, 10 more were already being built. Lieutenant Kelly's fighter approached the Starbreaker through a storm of defensive fire. The massive weapon was charging for its final shot at Earth. He could see the planet below, beautiful and blue, home to everything he had ever known. "This is for humanity," he whispered, arming his explosives. The Hornet struck the Starbreaker's main cannon at full speed. The small fighter disappeared in a brilliant explosion that tore through the weapon's core systems. Secondary explosions rippled across the massive station as its power systems overloaded. The Starbreaker, the Consual's ultimate weapon, died in flames. Council Prime Velnara watched in horror as her planet killer was destroyed. Around her flagship, human ships attacked from all directions. Their weapons were too advanced, their tactics too unpredictable. All ships retreat to secondary positions, she ordered. We need to regroup, but there was nowhere to retreat to. Human ships appeared everywhere using their wormhole technology. The Consual fleet spread across multiple systems was being defeated in detail. Fleet Admiral Morgan coordinated the final assault from her command ship. Multiple displays showed human victories across the galaxy. The tide had turned completely. Signal all units, she ordered. Begin pursuit operations. Don't let them regroup. The retreat became a rout. Consual ships fled in all directions, abandoning their invasion plans. What had begun as the largest military operation in galactic history had become their greatest defeat. 3 days later, a new voice contacted Admiral Morrison on Earth. High Arbiter Zonkrex represented a species so ancient they had helped create the galactic order itself. His people were older than the Consual and commanded respect from all other species. Admiral Morrison, the ancient being, said, "I represent the Galactic Council of Arbiters. We offer to mediate a peace settlement between your species and the Consual." Jake Morrison sat in his command chair, still wearing his battle-damaged uniform. Around him, his staff monitored the pursuit of fleeing alien fleets. "What terms do you propose?" he asked. "Complete recognition of human sovereignty over your current territory and all systems you choose to expand into," Zonkrex replied. "The Consual will withdraw all forces from Terran space and agree to a non-interference pact." Jake smiled grimly. "And in return? Humanity agrees not to pursue retreating Consual forces or invade their territory. The galaxy is large enough for both powers." 1 week later, representatives from both sides met aboard the neutral space station Harmony Point. President Marshall signed the Terra Accord on behalf of humanity, while a humbled Council Prime Velnara signed for the Consual. The treaty recognized humanity as an independent sovereign power, with the right to expand freely throughout their region of space. The age of unchallenged Consual dominance was over. Admiral Morrison stood with President Marshall as they watched the last alien ships leave human space. The war had cost thousands of lives, but humanity had earned its place among the stars. "What now?" Marshall asked. Jake looked out at the stars, thinking of the vast galaxy beyond. Human exploration fleets were already preparing to push deeper into unknown space. New worlds waited to be discovered, new challenges to be faced. "Now we explore," he said simply. "The galaxy is vast, and we've only just begun to see what's out there." Dr. Carter received reports of human scout ships heading toward unexplored regions of the galaxy. The Terra Accord had given humanity the freedom to expand, and they were taking full advantage of it. Captain Brooks, now promoted to admiral after his heroic actions, commanded one of the new exploration fleets. The Guardian led a group of ships toward the galactic rim, where no human had ever traveled. Engineer Rodriguez was already working on new technologies for the next generation of human ships. Faster engines, better weapons, improved life support systems. Humanity would continue to advance, to grow, to reach for the stars. The Galactic Consual learned a hard lesson about underestimating humanity. They had ruled the galaxy for 50,000 years, believing their dominance was eternal. But humans had proven that any empire could fall if faced with sufficient determination and superior technology. In her private chambers aboard the Universal Truth, Council Prime Velnara studied reports of human expansion into previously unexplored systems. The species they had tried to contain was now spreading faster than ever before. "They are unlike anything we have encountered," she admitted to Sage Ixalath. "Perhaps it is better that they expand away from our territory rather than toward it." The galaxy had entered a new age. Humanity had claimed its place as a major power through strength and determination. The age of human expansion had truly begun, and no force in the universe would stop it. On Earth, children looked up at the night sky and dreamed of the stars.